Is this on? Okay, I think it is. Hey, what's going on, guys? Got a bit more Battlefield coming your way, and the video that you're watching may be a bit jumping, cut up a bit weirdly. It's because it was like a 50-minute video initially, so I've cut it down to what I thought was appropriate. It was a 16 and a 14-minute piece, and that was like cutting out some of the death scenes and all the like boring parts, if I could find any, which there probably will be still. I kind of lost my patience messing around with it, but I then spent like a few hours uploading it and everything like that a couple of nights ago, and it got taken down straight away because it was 16 minutes long, and YouTube decided that was too long, even though, yeah, I know the limit's 15, but I've seen people get away with like a minute or two over, even if they're not partnered, so I was like, oh, it must be safe to do it, and instead I wasn't, so it took it down, and I haven't had like a spare minute to record anything till now, so this is a few days later after what I wanted to say. But yeah, I recorded this on the night, a guy called Jaye, I call him an acquaintance. I don't know if we're quite friends yet, but we're not on bad terms. He put a video up in a sort of response video to Woody's gamertags sort of Let's Talk Battlefield video, and I'll link both of these in the description. But yeah, that was what I was talking about and what I sort of gave my own viewpoints on. Pretty much agreeing with Jay on his on the points he made and how he interpreted what Woody said. And kind of let's give some background to the video. So obviously we all know Woody's quite a big Call of Duty guy, and if any of you don't know that, well, he's kind of one of the biggest channels in the community. But he was speaking about Call of Duty, the sort of Battlefield 3 and what he wanted from it, and everything he said just made it come out as another Call of Duty title, which obviously to the people that play this game and enjoy this series and franchise, it's a completely stupid point for him to make. And he sort of came across as ignorant or arrogant of sort of what this game and its franchise was about. And I know I'm not the most well qualified person to talk about the differences in the games and things like that. I mean, I've played a good few hours on this game, but this is the only Battlefield game I've played. But I still feel, you know, I've got a bit more grounds than Woody, who, when I checked his stats later on, being the kind of person that I am, I just wanted to see what he was like. He was only level 10, and really, even I said before that you could get to that level in a night. Well, I still think you'd be quite half decent to get there in just one night of playing, but he hasn't played that much time on the game as compared to, I don't know, myself, any D-Crew guys, anybody in this community really, or even some of the Call of Duty guys. I know not many people like him, but Wings of Redemption has put his time in. I mean, he's a bit more better qualified than the rest of them to say anything about the game, but that's just me and how I see it. But basically what he was saying about the game was, he highlighted initially how Bungie and DICE had their games in this top 3 of the franchise in shooter games these days, yet both games were nowhere near as successful as Activision's Call of Duty, with the alternating producers, or whatever the hell they're called, the developers, Treyarch and Infinity Ward. And yeah, that's true, that's understandable, but really they make better games, or at least they give better support, and it's not really until Black Ops or Treyarch that you've seen Call of Duty have decent, good support. He went on to talk about the engine, and sort of like, I think the reason a lot of people in the Call of Duty scene like slate the game is because the game doesn't run on 60 frames a second with the Twitch type controls of Call of Duty. But really, I think Colin mentioned it in a video recently, that he enjoys that because, you know, it's more clunky, and it's more sort of, I don't know if realistic is the word for it, but it has got a bit more sort of grit to it, if that really makes much sense. I just prefer sort of the feel of Battlefield. I mean, I'm not a bad player, I'm not the best player in the world. I mean, I've come up against much better players, but like, I still am quite good at it, and it's just because I quite like the feel of the game. But the Frostbite 2.0 engine, I mean, from the release footage that we probably shouldn't have seen as my teammate suicides the chopper, it looks a beautiful game, at least on single player on the PC. I mean, I know Battlefield is made for the PC, especially like that specific series and the Bad Company games. I suppose they probably are, but I think they're more to match up with the console version. But I definitely want to look into getting that on PC if I pick up a decent PC this year, which I'm planning on doing. But yeah, in the future, that is a thing for me to do. But the Frostbite 2.0 engine is just building upon, or at least I believe it's just building upon what we've already got in the Bad Company game on the Frostbite engine, including the destructible environments, the ability to hold a lot of players in the games. And I mean, it's only the consoles that get restrained to the 30 FPS. I mean, I know that people that play on PC get a lot more than that, or at least I'm understanding that that's what it is. And that seems to be the same with any other game, really. Like Call of Duty, I know one of my friends gets over 100 frames a second. Sometimes I think he even says he gets 200, but it's just that's just the limits of the console. So I think against Call of Duty this year, yeah, not really any game's going to beat it on the console. But for the PC, I think Battlefield's got it in the bag. Call of Duty, as we know with Black Ops, I'm just going to keep sort of referencing back to that. I know I probably shouldn't, it's kind of hypocritical of me, but that was a horrific game from the feedback I've had from my friends for at least the first couple of months after release on the PC, because it was just so not coded properly. I don't actually know the technical things behind it, but it wasn't utilising the PCs properly or something like that. So against PC, against Battlefield, Call of Duty's never going to really win, especially when Battlefield take years and years to release a game, while Activision force a Call of Duty title out every year, which it just didn't. I think the series itself could have been much better off if they hadn't done that, and it probably would have had a bit more. I don't know what the word is. It would have been a more fulfilling series, because we would have had it a bit more like this Battlefield series, in which we see it every year. No, wait, no, we don't. Wait, what am I saying? Oh, you get what I mean. Anyway. So Woody's points were initially he went on about the large maps. It's something he doesn't like in Battlefield. He doesn't want to be running a minute or something across the map. And I've seen in a few forums where people have spoken about the same sort of things, that if you're running for a minute across a map, then there was probably a lift that you could have picked up somewhere. For instance, running from the start of this base to the first base here, that takes you about, I don't know, a good few seconds. But look, you've got 2 choppers, jet skis, and later on you get a tank. I mean, there's vehicles in the game for a reason. If you don't like them, well, use the engineer kit. There's all the recon kit with the C4. There's multiple ways of taking these things out. And I just realised I need to tweak the volume at this section, cutting everything up. This is suddenly a lot louder than it was in the previous one, so I need to go through and do all that later. Another thing about the game is the destructible environments. And like I don't know, he commented on them. I don't think he slated them, but he commented on them, and it's just one of those. It's another aspect of Battlefield which makes it the series that it is. The maps, you know, things like heavy metal are like a kilometre across, and he called Array a large map for a Call of Duty player, and yeah, it is, but that's because it's a whole different game. Well, obviously it's not. It's still a FPS, but they're different games. They've got different mechanics in place. They play differently. There's different like not motivations in the game, but there's different like objectives in the game to get to, and things like that. It's different. It's differently made. And following on from that, he wanted it. Following on the point, he wanted everything as Call of Duty. He mentioned kill streaks, and he mentioned the Medal of Honor score chains, and I think he was trying to sort of put together the fact that just because DICE made the Medal of Honor, multiplayer, if I understand correctly, he wanted the same sort of aspects from there, the score chain feature, to represent the kill streaks. But for Battlefield 3, and as far as I know, that's never happened in Battlefield 3, and I don't think it will, or at least it shouldn't, because it's just making itself more generic to all the other FPS games on the market, and that isn't what everybody wants. I mean, yeah, Battlefield might not be as successful, but the people that play it, it kind of represents in the community we see at the moment on YouTube, is that it's a much sort of tighter, not so, I don't know if friendlier can be based on that, but it is a friendly community anyway, but it's a much tighter and close-knit community because we're a bunch of core players. I mean, yeah, I do play a lot of Call of Duty, and yeah, I've got a lot of it on my channel, so I'm probably, as I said earlier, it may come across as a bit hypocritical from me, but this is how I see it. I don't know, I just find it a bit is there right to be saying obnoxious that a lot of the Call of Duty guys, I did find it annoying earlier. I mentioned it to a friend of mine that they put the game down after what, a month, if that, and a few levels of playing and a few hours of playing time or whatever, and then slated the game, whatever, because it wasn't as close with controls, it wasn't as tight, it wasn't the Call of Duty 60 frames per second, all that kind of rubbish. That really, I don't know, you've still got really good game here. It's a lot of good players, a lot of nice guys, and they constantly complain about the community. Well, guess what? If they'd come and played this game, they wouldn't have to, because there isn't a lot to get annoyed about. Since at least since the C4 crate bashing was fixed, really. So there isn't much I've got as gripe with this game these days. You know, there's no lag for the most part, unless you play on a different location server. But usually, you know, it's pretty tight game. I don't know. They put the game down. They said they didn't want to play it. They didn't like it. It's not Call of Duty. But now they come back for Battlefield 3 and praise it, and then in Woody's case want to make it Call of Duty 8, 7, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it would be. Sorry, it would be 8, because yeah, 7's already come out. 8, 9, you know, alongside the other 5 trillion different first-person shooters that are coming out this year. You know, we always need another Call of Duty game, another generic cookie-cutter shooter. But whatever, what can you do about it? I mean, the guys that play the Battlefield series and play it well, D-Crew, the DRMB guys, all of these different communities, the PC guys, you've got like Don't Blink, Mass Death, or Abendhausen, or whatever you want to say. All of these guys play the game. They've put a lot of time into it. They know what they're talking about. They know. I know, like people like Hobo, although he doesn't post Battlefield, he's played. I believe he's got a 9 on the veteran, which means he's probably got a lot of experience in the series. And he, if anyone, I would ask about, would know what he's talking about. These guys, they know Battlefield a lot better than the Call of Duty guys, and I think really the Call of Duty guys need to kind of shut up, watch these guys talk about Battlefield 3 before they make any judgments or make any talks about it, because Woody really did make himself look stupid, and a lot of the people in the comments made him look, well, didn't make him look bad, but they sort of told him what they thought of his opinion, and honestly, it was a bit of a stupid thing for him to say, because he really didn't consider what he was talking about, in my opinion. But yeah, so if you haven't already noticed, this is pretty much a massive chopper haul game, and I'll upload the second part. That is where we steal their hind and do the same shit again. Pretty much fly around, get kills, and we do actually win the game. I thought initially we lost it because the scoreboard, not the scoreboard, the title glitched at the end, you know, where it says your team won or lost. So I was quite confused. I thought we'd lost the game, and I was then questioning putting this up, but when I watched it back, we'd won it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can actually upload that. It's safe to upload. I know losses aren't wrong to upload, but in this case it wouldn't have been right if I'd got this gameplay and we'd lost, because let's be honest, I didn't really play the objective that well, but I did kill a lot of people. I think by the end of the game it's 68-7. I'm not actually sure. So you'll see that in the next episode, and the scoreboard at the end is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. I have quite a lot of pins and all that good stuff. But yeah, the gameplay has about a minute left. I would like to know what games you guys are looking forward to this year. I know myself, I'm very up for Skyrim on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th. Quite easy to remember. Gears of War 3 I believe is coming out sometime in September. I will be picking that up for console, but it may be the only game I pick up for console this year. I'm questioning getting Skyrim on the PC. My friend definitely advises it after he showed me some Oblivion and it looked amazing on the PC. And also, obviously, I'm definitely thinking about getting Battlefield, but this, of course, all depends on if I actually get a PC and if it's good enough to handle it. Also, adding something on, I've just remembered I need to include. This is a new microphone. I bought the X11s due to my X1s being broken when Hobo wouldn't let me stay in the air on Friday night when I was playing with the D-Crew, not this Friday night, then Friday before. So I accidentally broke them, bought some X11s, and hopefully, well yeah, there's Konto going mad. Hopefully this is a better sound quality. So yeah, please give me a heads up on what you think of this, and bye guys.